Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my atmospheric cafeteria. We have an Ernesto Diego Hudson Rivera over there. Let's see if we can see him. Ooh, there he be. I'm sure Oscar will be ooh, hello. Sorry, Bubs, that was me. Oscar will be over soon. I've got them around me and we're kind of in a cuddle puddle right now. I've got Douglas Arthur next to me. Oscar is right across from me, and Ernesto is right there, and I am here, and we are like in a square. They are in a pyramid pattern, and yeah. Let's get into what we're doing today, which is very different. I've been called to do something called Life is a Highway, where I kind of explain the life path and purpose and they're saying the meaning between A to Z. Obviously, not everything is for everyone, but this is going to be for the people that, soul resonate with it, right? Kind of like also the Oracle of Delphi. I feel her here, and the Seven Sisters. I was surprised to feel them here. They're like, no, we're coming in. We're going to talk with all it. And they showed me being in the temples and being around the water and looking in and scrying. It was an absolutely lovely vision. It was lovely. And I could smell the flowers. It was just so nice. So earlier, I did a coffee scrying video. Someone's getting a little pregnant. And this is good pregnancy. These are people that want to get pregnant. These are good things. So go check that out if you'd like to. Do what you would like to do. You do you, boo-boo. Measure those chocolate chips with your heart. If you're baking them, remember to have a more cookie dough than chips. And if you're not, then you do you. You're good. You're good. So I do have my cards here, but I was directed to take out my crochet. And then I was directed to unravel it. So that's what we're going to do, because you know what? Sometimes life unravels, and we have to start at the beginning, they say. Ooh, this is some strong coffee. Might need a little extra sugar. This batch of chocolate syrup was hoofty. I for some reason thought I didn't add enough cocoa to it and then added a couple spoonfuls more, and then added a little extra water, and then realized, oh no, I probably did, because when you have ADHD, yeah. So yeah, that's about it. That's about what happened though. But so I just have to add a little bit more sugar maybe. But when it cools, it's also, that's another thing about coffee. When it cools, it can be a little bit sweeter. But if you crochet, grab your crochet project. If you do anything fun, artsy, if you're playing a video game, hi! Oh, let me know what you play. I play Binding of Isaac. I love Atomicrops. I like top-down shooters. I believe that's what they're called. Among others. Oh my god, I love Destroy All Humans. I love Destroy All Humans. BioShock was amazing too. I haven't finished Contrast, but I need to. Anyway, so if you're new to crocheting, want to crochet along, and if you've never crocheted, do you have any yarn? Or do you need to pause this and go out? If you've never crocheted, you just want to go down to the Walmart, okay? You don't want anything super expensive. You're going to get a nice little, this is gray, Red Heart worsted weight yarn. You don't want the Lion brand floofy softy stuff, because I'm making a scarf here. Because you want to be able to see what you're doing when you're starting out. And Red Heart really, in general, I love Red Heart, because for me, I'm making stuff that's being used, and if it gets destroyed, I really just don't care. And everything, just like, I have poured coffee on white Red Heart yarn, and it didn't stain it. So, you know, it's polyester anyway. Well, not polyester, but acrylic. Yeah, so don't iron it. But dryer's fine. Washer, dryer, never had a problem. But you're just going to grab this, and you're going to grab a hook by Boy. It's a J. Okay. Now everybody holds their hook different. I hold mine like a pen. Some people grip. Just remember, if you grip, relax up in here because you can get too much tension in here. I'm saying this as a hairdresser, okay? You can get too much tension in here. That's why, like this, there's less tension here. You can still get the tension in your yarn. It just takes a little bit extra practice. Although there's a Bernat one that's really, really thick that, oh my God, that stuff, I had to do the grip. By the time I was done with that, it took me like 6 months to make this blanket. It was huge. The blanket wasn't huge, just the yarn was. I literally was just like, I don't want to crochet for a year, and I didn't. My yarn is underneath my table. It is pre-balled, and I keep it in a little basket because then everything is contained because I am neurodivergent and I like everything contained. Also, as for neurodivergent, I have autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and dyscalculia. I am hella neuro. We do not use spicy because that is not a good idea. Not when you're Mexican. Gets a little weird. So yeah, so that is the reason why I need this in my hand to fidget with. And not only that, something's coming in. It's like a little wave of spirits coming in. They're all coming. So that's why I like the fidgety stuff. That's why right? So I just want to let you guys know, when I say neurodivergent, I mean, like, you know, I get yous. So through a lot of what I do tend to give like little tips to help you here and there. Take the tips as you need. Use them whereas you need to. See where they'll fit in your life. If they won't fit in your life, maybe you'll have that suggestion for someone else. Okay, so if we've all got our activities ready or our video games playing and we're ready to do, or maybe you're doing your dishes. Are you doing your dishes? Do you need a body double? Let me body double you. Hi, let me body double you. Let me body double you. I'll be your body double. You can, you know, as you're in the mood and ready, you know, are you ready to fold your laundry and put it away and take me with you in your earbuds and and go. Because if you're ready, I'm ready, and the spirits seem to be ready. Alrighty then. So, life is a highway. And my spirit team is a bunch of, I love them, but they're assholes, okay? They're just assholes. Because I have now laid this out like this. And then realizing it looks like a road. A bumpy road. A road with lots of different crevices and creases. And oh my gosh, look at that. I even sat here and neatened it up too. And I'm only gonna like undo it. It's not like it's gonna stay this way, right? So, as in everything with life, sometimes things just unravel, right? And you gotta frog it. You just gotta kinda, once I move stuff, I then get like, I think this just has to come like that. Better. Is better. Is good. Yes. Alrighty then. And sometimes life just unravels, right? And we just sit there and we're like, what the hell? And you know, it's so much easier to unravel it. Excuse me. Life is so much easier to unravel than it is to start. Right? I mean, yarn barf. We call this yarn barf. And of course, I'm going to just throw my barf down there. Because I know if I just keep, you know, as it unravels, if I just keep, you know, doing it like this, As I crochet back up, it'll be fine. Yeah, I talked to Spirit about me unraveling this because I just started it last night and actually take me too terribly long. And Spirit's like, no. Let's do this. Let's show this unraveling. So, you know, life is a highway, and it's unpredictable, and it's unknowable, and no matter how sensitive you are, no matter how many readings you get, you know, it's intangible and it's unknowable, and it's that way for a very, very specific reason, because you're not supposed to know everything at once, right? We're all actually here to learn something. We all have this path we have to go on, right? And we all sit here and go, what the fuck was I goddamn fucking thinking when I decided to go down that freaking goddamn path? And we all know. We all said it. Right? And that's okay. I'm sorry about the swearing. I do a little bit of swearing. Okay, I'm a cosmetologist. I do a lot of swearing. I mean, we make truckers blush. We really do. We don't really understand why. I mean, it's just the word fuck. But then, you know, we start to talk about. Anyway. And don't do that purposefully, people. If you know, you know. Oh, also, get yourself a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, just take a piece of yarn, snip it off, and tie it to the end to this area when it comes time to use that, okay? And that will be your marker. Always make something, you know, a butter knife too can be a flathead screwdriver. And on occasion, I have made things be a Phillips head screwdriver too. Because sometimes you got to use what you've got in front of you, right? And that's part of learning. That's part of your path. That's part of understanding the world around you. And when you learn over on this plane of existence, you bring that knowledge to every existence around you. Okay? So you're here in this body, and maybe you're waiting for me to unravel this as you finish balling up your first skein of yarn. And don't forget, you want to do the center. You want to go in the center. You want to find where the center pull is, and you want to go out through the center. Because it's just easier that way. If you haven't balled your yarn up yet, though, do definitely pause this and ball your yarn up real quick. Because you will thank me. But if you got the red heart, actually their center pull is actually pretty good. Hi, Oscar. Hi, you want to come up? I am kind of in your way. Yeah, and I'm sitting in your chair too, aren't I? It's technically my chair. You know, Sharon gave it to me. Oh, he's like, she gave it to you. She gave it to you. Want to see everybody? Do say hellos? Come here. There he is. Here, babies. Here, there you go. Thank you, love. Yes, you have food. He gets the whole top of this because A, it keeps him off of the other countertops, and that way the dogs don't eat his food. And I just came to a snag, because doesn't life have a snag on occasion? You'll see a little snag. Now, I know for people with ADHD, and especially ADHD, it can be hard at this point to be as calm as I am, because you're ripping it up, right? You're ripping all this up, and you're like, yeah, and you're like, ah. And what's your first instinct? You rip it off, just like destroy it. I don't know if men have an equivalent. Lads, if you do, let me know. But I know for women, oh, I got coffee all over this. That's okay. It can be washed. Oh, I did get coffee. It's because I'm slamming my hands around. I'm going to leave it till it's because, okay. I understand why now. For women, there can get a point when you have brassiere on where you just want to get it off now. And you just want to rip it off of you. Like, you just want to, like you're trying to get the hooks off, and you're just like, I need to get this off now, and you just want to, like, rip it off. I have done that because it just becomes a sensory issue. Oh, it's okay, Oscar. It just becomes like this little sensory issue after a while. gets overwhelming. And that's where we are here. This can get really overwhelming, but if I rip it, I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to rip up the yarn. I'm not going to know what the hell I did, and I'm going to be upset. So what I have to do is realize that when I crocheted this, it's either a tiny little knot where two things are just overlapped, or it's just a little piece where maybe one piece of yarn got into another piece of yarn and they knotted a little bit. So I'm going to move it back and forth. Because see, when it is something like that, you can break it and it doesn't hurt anything. And it's still a little bit knotted, so I'm going to go like that, and you see it's right there. And I just start little by little. Sometimes you gotta do it a different way. And you know, your life path is like that too. You do it one way, and sometimes you gotta do it again, and you gotta learn how to do it a different way. Grab our stitch marker, and go all the way there. Okay. And okie dokie. And now, when I do this and I start to feel that hyperactivity inside, I breathe, and because you can like feel it come up, I make it relax. Like, you know how like your mom can give you that look, or you can give your child or your dog, or you get the point, right? You're giving yourself the look. Okay, hyperactivity, we're not doing that right now because this is not going to help me. The more you do that, the more you train yourself to do that, the easier it becomes, because it's very easy when you're neurodivergent to self-gaslight and tell ourselves we can't do something, when in fact we can do a lot more than what anybody thinks. And is it going to be a mess at first? Sure. Sure. But if we take our time and stop when we need to, we can see where we need to go. I got here. I see the problem there. To solve the problem. I also really like knots, so I mean, not, well, I do. I used to make knots when I was younger so I could take them apart. Don't ask. I'm a strange child. Here we go. Now we see this here is this little loop of yarn. But had I, all the way back there, just ripped it, I don't know what I would have been ripping up. I might have, you know, it might have been more of a serious knot in there where, you know, now I've just lost a chunk of yarn. Now, I know that's just a little bit, but sometimes that little bit matters. And when you're, like, if you guys crochet or knit or anything, you're going to know. We call it yarn chicken. I'm sure that you all have your own word for it, but it's where you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I've got enough to do this diamond painting. I know I do. I think I do. I made this myself, but I don't know if I've got enough to finish this. And so you're playing, you know, gem chicken. I don't know what the words would be. I have never done it. It's just very, very pretty. It's very, very lovely. So now I've got to find the beginning again. Right? Oh, spirit. You work in many mysterious ways, and crochet, I guess, is one of them. There's my barf of yarn. And I'm going to move this before I get this too all over the place, because if that spills, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be angry with myself, and it's going to go all over the place, and it's going to go in the dog's water dishes. It's going to scare Ernie. He's going to skitter off. Do you see what this... See? So when I saw that moving, I just picked it up and moved it over there, because I know now I'm being proactive and I'm being safer than what I was. Also, move your glass back. It doesn't actually need to be on the edge. I know you think it does. I did too, but isn't the spilling worse than just having to reach your arm back a little bit more? Especially if it's a glass and it breaks and then you've got to pick up the glass. This is often how I think about stuff. I look at something and I'm like, well, you know, if I do that, do cause and effect. Which is very life is a highway. Okay. Here we go. So this one might be a two-parter, but probably not. Because I can always crochet more tomorrow. No, you know what? I'm going to put this in my lap. Yeah, my lap like a guardian angel. It's like a guardian angel, I'm telling you. It's like a guardian angel. And I'm going to have to definitely wash this one and spot treat it. It's okay. It isn't going to hurt a thing. So for those that don't know how to crochet, you're going to make a loop like this, okay? Like a pretzel. See? Looks like a little pretzel. And when you put this through, like that, and you know how you were going to make a knot like that and you would just tie down and go make a knot? Well, if you take this piece of yarn here and this piece of yarn here and you put them like that, they look like a pretzel. And you're going to take the pretzel and you're going to take the hook, you're going to put it right between the center part of the pretzel. Okay? Center part of the pretzel. And then we're going to tie like that. And we're going to chain and you're going to put it around. Okay? And put it around. And you're going to hold this side tight with that string and this side tight with that string. You can hold the string in your hand however it works for you. And then you're going to take this. You're going to pull it through. See how that goes? And then you're going to go around again like that. And you're going to pull through again. If it feels too tight, you're just going to, there you go. You're going to do this 6 times, okay? It's okay if it falls out because not everything goes perfect, does it? Now when you count, one, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to do one more. Hold on one second. Let me redo them a little bit. See, life is fast. But it doesn't have to be really fast. It can also be really kind of moderate. And then one more. And you have this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is great. This is not the best color. And from the hook, you're going to count 1, 2, and we're going to go into this one right here. Yep. We're going to put a yarn over like that, and we're going to, just like the pretzel, where you had there's the bumps, there's going to be 2 bumps on top and 1 bump on the bottom. You're going to go right in between there. This is going to be complicated. This is a lot more, actually. If you're paying attention and you're following so long, there you go. Let's see. I'm going to put the yarn over like that because we're not going to make any more chains. And right here, I don't know if you can see it well, and you go right in between there. Of course, if I had my glasses on, I could see what I was doing. Ha ha! Okay, one chain, one chain, two chain, third chain. Okay, and you're going to see on the back the little bumps. You're going to go in between the little bumps on top, and when you look underneath this little piece there, which when you actually physically look, I know you'll see it. Oscar, don't know what you're doing. You're gonna put a yarn over. This is so sideways. And you're gonna find those two bumps, and you're gonna go into the middle of the two bumps. So you're gonna have two bumps on top. Okay, this is not okay. You gotta get down. Thank you very much. You're okay. You didn't do anything wrong, Doug. He's just being a silly. And we all know there's another word for that, but you know. Yeah, see those two loops on top. And then when you turn it over, there's that one loop on the bottom. And then that's what it looks like. Okay? All right. So then, now I've got myself all messed up. Yarn over. And just like with your chains, right? You're going to pick up that, go through two. This is definitely advanced. This is definitely, okay, so we're definitely, if you're new, and you want me to do this new, then we'll do this new. If you know how to double crochet, you can do this. I should have said that from the beginning, and I apologize. I will write that in the thing. So if you can double crochet, you can do this. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna do 6 chains, and you're going to go in from the second chain from the hook and do a double crochet, and then you're going to do 3 more, and you're going to end up with 3 double crochets. You're going to turn. I always turn before I chain 1. I find it does the edging better. Which we've got to turn, don't we? Got to turn. We got to chain 6 again. And that is a lot like a life path. You know, we've got to make decisions before we're born. 1, 2. We make the decisions on what we're doing and how we're doing it and what we want to do and where we want to go and who we want to be and who are the parents that we need to teach us the things that we need to teach. You know? Who are these people that are going to guide us through these times when they're hard? Who are these people that are going to help us learn that, you know, and remember, you're and sometimes you've got to go back to the beginning, because sometimes when you start making your choice for your life path, it's not exactly coming exactly how you want it, right? Sometimes you've got to stop and turn and restart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And of course, the beginning is always the hardest part, because it's figuring out what you need to learn next, right? So you were born, you passed away, you did review on the other side, and now it is time to be reborn, right? Now, they're telling me to explain what review is. When you pass away, you go for review. There is no heaven. There is no how. There's like literally only the other side. So we're going to take our stitch marker. Put it right there near the tail so we know the right side. So we know right side up from bottom. So and I always chain 2 for double crochets to start because it gives a better edge. So sometimes we have to go back to the beginning. We have to so review. Basically what happens is you pass away and you cross over, and you're, the best way I can say it is it's like once you've made your life plan, once you've decided this is going to be here, this is going to be my mom, and this is going to be my dad, and I'm going to be born here, and these are going to be my siblings, then you go off, and you go off into the path, and you learn the things that you're supposed to learn. But before you do that, back in here, okay, before any of this can ever happen, there's all this pre-planning that happens. And a lot of it is, you know, we all already know a lot of this, right? It's that regular pre-planning of what do I want to be when I grow up? Who are my parents? I mean, I know I've already said this stuff. It's also bigger things. What am I doing in this world? What is it that I need to learn on this plane of existence? Okay. For myself, recently I heard someone who was neurodivergent say that they realized that their neurodivergent thing within themselves is that they try to always make themselves better. And I just sat there and I went, oh my God, I do the same thing. I do so much self-talk, so much self-therapy, so much, you know, rational. I call myself a Spockling. You know, I'm very Spock-like, where I'm going to analyze this and I'm going to make sure, like I was saying before, earlier, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, oh, actually the better one is the coffee thing where the proactive. I'm proactive. I put that up there because I know eventually I'm going to hit this table and it's going to shatter everywhere and I'm going to get upset, right? Earlier with my coffee, the way that I prepare things and bake and that, I take everything out at once, and then once I use one thing, I put it back because that's being proactive. And these are the things that hold on. I lost my train of thought there for a second. I'm just bringing it backwards. So we go on our life plan. So I'm going to just continue where I thought I was. So we're so it's really bothering me that there's this much chocolate on here. I'm not going to take care of it right now. And actually, you guys can't see it the way I can. So that's okay. I'm just going to wash this tomorrow. We'll have a new one. Being proactive is important. I'm sure I will get back there. But as we're making our life plan, myself. See? So I realize that's who I am. I am the person that I am always trying to be self-analyzing and, excuse me, being a mentally healthy person and trying hard. And I realize too that I do that too much with my friends. And dear friends, I'm sorry I do that to you sometimes, except for you. You know who you are. Yeah, you. So, yeah, I know you can feel that too. So, you know, I myself have to understand that I have to rein myself in. So on my life path, this is part of my life path to do this and experience this and to realize that I can't be a motivational speaker. I am a clairvoyant. Yes. I can get stuff in from spirit. Yes. I have a lot of different experiences at 53 that I can glean from over 53 years of life. But I don't know everything. Like I once said to my mother, Mom, not everybody knows what you know. Not everybody knows how to boil water. Some people need to learn what it looks like to put water in the pan, to feel what it feels like when it's cold, to see the water simming, to understand you can't put your hand in that pot. Everybody has to learn and grow. And that is what having your life plan and making it beforehand does. That's why it's important, because you're actually categorizing what you need to learn when you get over here. And then what they always show me is that it's almost like you go into a hospital room. And it's not a hospital room, it's like one of those old-fashioned ones where it's like a line of beds, but everybody's like okay with this, and it's cozy and it's warm and it's comfortable, and you lay down and you go to sleep, and you're almost like you're in a coma, and you're born. I mean, obviously there's gestation, but you get my point, and you're born. And now you're on this life path. And your life path is like a highway. Your little body is like a car. Okay? And you get to drive it. And you get to learn and hear and listen and see and make the choices as to, are we going down the driveway today? Yep. Are we going to cross the street? Nope, because we're 2 years old and we can't. So we're going to make a left and we're going to go down just to in front of the bushes, right? And then we're going to turn around and we're going to go just across the driveway to those bushes. And then we're going to come back up into the house, right? And that's the first part of our life path. That's the beginning of our life path. And that highway in our life only keeps getting bigger, because eventually you're learning to drive the car. Actually, before you're even learning to drive the car, you're learning how to ride the bike. You're learning how to cross the street. You're learning You're learning how to cross the street. You're learning how to do the things that you need to do so that when it comes time to get your permits, you can. And when you get your license, you can pass it. Because you studied and you did the work. And now you're in the car, right? And you're 16 and you're 17 and you're 18, and you have to be careful, and you have to watch out for the kids at Halloween and the little old ladies and the dogs, and maybe along the line you meet somebody else in their car, and isn't their car pretty cute? Maybe they got a puppy hanging out the window, and maybe you got a kitty hanging out of yours, and everybody gets together, and you guys. It's like you have your car and they have their car, and you meet and you get each other's weird, and it works, and you start flying, and you can do it. And then all of a sudden the cars merge together, and it becomes a bigger car. But your car is still there and their car is still there. It's just now you're going down the road differently. But before you can even get there, there's other growth and things that have to happen. Like, you've got to go down the road, right? Like, okay, so as you're learning and growing, this is so metaphor-y. So if you're still here, I love you. Thank you. So, you know, when we back it up to, you know, we've got our tricycle. We've got our little, you know, our little tykes thing. You know, how do we grow? We grow by learning how to cross the street. We grow by listening to mom and dad when they say, you know, don't do this, don't do that, be very, very careful. And we grow by thinking and, oh, actually that comes, you know, to a point of being proactive. We think ahead of what we're doing. And if you're neurodivergent, you still do this. You just do it differently than everybody else. The thing is with neurodivergent people, and I love y'all because I am one, the minute someone tells us we can't do something, we internalize that. So I always say to people, you know, when somebody says that you can't do something, don't make it a challenge to do it, but do stop and say, can I do it? Now, if you can't do it, that's acceptable. If you can do it, that's acceptable. But don't charge in and do it for spite, and don't just sit there and not do it because someone said you couldn't. You see what I'm saying? Don't self-gaslight. Don't be passive-aggressive with yourself. Understand that you can do yes, you can do a routine, trust me. You flush after, you can also do a habit, because trust me, you flush after you get out of the toilet, that's a habit. You get up for work every day, that's a routine. Where did you go over there? But, you know, the way that you graduate to getting across the street is by going across the street with mom and dad. And you learn how to go across the street. And then there's the day where mom and dad let you cross on your own while they watch so you can go to your friend's house, you know? And that's like a sonic boom. There will be points in your life where you have these sonic booms of growth. And sometimes it'll feel like a real, oh, I'm sorry, Ern, it's okay. It'll feel like a real, I'm not going to make any noise because he doesn't like big noises. Like a big, yeah, even that he didn't like. And it'll feel like a big burst of light. And that's because you did something that made you grow. So you listened to mom and dad, they taught you how to do this, and that had your, you know, and that had the growth that helped you, you know, learn this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do. And this is just your neighborhood, okay, right now. This is just your neighborhood. So you get into your neighborhood. You get into your neighborhood. And that's where you're learning here and there. But when you start to go across the street, that's when you learn to go on the other streets of your neighborhood. So mom and dad taught you how to stay within the parameters that were healthy, okay? And then they taught you how to go down the street, and now they taught you how to go across the street, and now we're a little bit older. Now we're around, you know, maybe 5. Now we see the lady across the street we're going to see with her child. So now we're walking you down, and we're watching you as you drive your bike across that street. This is growth for you. This is a sonic boom. This is a little sonic boom because this is the first time you're doing something to go to see your friend, and you now know you can do this every time. This is growth. And soon you'll be like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, just going around the block and going everywhere that you need to do and learning all of these lessons around the area that you live. And then finally, eventually, you're going to get a car. because your parents trust you. And you're going to get in your car and you're going to go to school and you're going to do the thing and you're going to be great. You're going to be amazing and you're going to get on the highway. Okay? Life is a highway. Life is a highway. You get on the highway and you drive. You drive the speed limit. You pay attention. And eventually you take an exit, you know? And after you take that exit, you're going down into the little town that the exit's off of. And you know what you're doing? You and your car are just tooling around there. You're going to the KFC. You're going to the corner bodega. You're meeting some new people. Maybe you're even going to college. You know, has anybody ever read All the Places You'll Go? You know? I'm doing all that stuff. And then eventually, you learn and you learn and you grow. And you leave that part of the town and you get back on the highway. And you keep growing. And you keep growing and you keep going, right? And then all of a sudden, you're off and you're off another exit, right? And you're learning and growing there. And little by little, we learn and we grow as we go off of each exit, okay? But sometimes there are extra growth. There's extra growth to do, extra ascension to learn. Things that being in this town here a couple towns back, being in that town a couple towns back, going through that prepared you for this, because this is the thing, you know. This is one of the tests on your life path. And all of a sudden, you're not going 55 miles an hour anymore. You're going 65, and then you're going 85, and then you're going 125. And you are doing this thing, this task, whether it is something over a long period of time coming to fruition, because you're keeping at it in a balanced, steady pace and learning as you go, because this is something you're supposed to learn for your life path, or because this is an emergency, because this is something that is like oh my God, eruption, right? I mean, there's the eruption of the volcano that is not expected, and then there's the one where the scientists, the volcanologists know, okay, we can't be up here anymore because we only have like a matter of weeks, and now we need to be away from this before it explodes. Okay? And there can be other little things in between that, but those are usually the ones that are like, okay, I'm on my life path. I've decided I need to do this in order to learn this, to grow, to get to this next growth point, because everything on this highway is a growth point. So you get into this sonic boom, you do the thing, you get the thing, you do the thing, and this, now you're going 200, 300, 400, 500 miles an hour, right? You're going to get off on a different ramp now. And this ramp, you're going to go so fast up this ramp that if you haven't completed this sonic boom, it's going to kick you off into a ditch. And when you get off onto this new, what are those things called? Bypass, sideways. Sideways, where did that come from? Anyway, we get the point. You get the point. You know, the access thing. The on-ramp. When you get on this ramp to go into the next thing, you're going to be shocked because you're not going into another town. You're going up this ramp and onto a new highway. And this new highway allows you to drive confidently at 500 miles an hour without even thinking. This is the one where you leave the kitchen and you're like, Gotta turn off the lights, click, and your lights are off, and you walk back in 3 hours later going, wait, I turned the lights off? What the hell is that? And you feel great about yourself because you have your own wonky habit of doing it because that's the way it works, right? Barf, barf, right? So that's what these highways are. That's what ascension is. And when you're born, these are the things you're supposed to do, the things you're supposed to accomplish. And these are the things that progress you moving forwards as you grow and you age, because growing and aging is very complex. Like back in ska. Somebody might like ska. I like ska. In the scrying coffee reading, scrying breakfast friends. I love you all. I just love you all right now. I love you all. Every single one of you that got that, I just send you love. And to those who don't, go watch Steven Universe. I love you. Yes, exactly. Season 4, episode 4. See, you have to go on this path, and you have to take these ramps off, because once you take the sonic boom off, and once you're going 500 miles an hour, eventually there's going to be another sonic boom, and that's going to be harder. But it's not going to seem so hard because you already did this sonic boom. If you don't do this sonic boom, if you don't do this thing that you're supposed to learn, then what ends up happening is you get kicked out. You get kicked off of the highway. Your car ends up in a crash, and you have to get, hauled into the town off the next ramp. And then you have to tool around that town until you have learned the lessons you need to learn to leave that town and even get back on the highway. That's why you'll look at people, and now I'm saying this at 53 years old, and you'll see them my age, and you'll be like, and I'm not talking about, being immature. I'm not talking about being silly. I'm not talking about, we're mentally unhealthy and we don't have our shit together because we're struggling. I'm talking about those people that you look at and you're like, every time somebody tells you the truth, you go, well, but they never grow. You've known these people you've worked with for 10 years. You've gotten married, you've had kids, you've grown, maybe you've had health issues, maybe your wife has had health issues, maybe your spouse has had health issues, and you have grown and changed together as a tight unit. But you're looking at this person over here, and they can't get out of their own fucking asshole. Because when the time came to do the sonic boom, they got kicked off, and now they're tooling around the town and they're not learning anything. And they will stay there for a long time. And if they don't learn, they have to come back and redo it again. And they're telling me these are spirits that can be scared to do it. But they're also spirits given a chance. They're spirits that understood at the time when they came down they would be afraid, but the available chance was there. Now let's remember, when you don't take the chance, that's also a lesson that we're learning. Everything we do here is a lesson that we're learning. And we go to the other side and review it. So, I gotta rearrange my legs. See, this is why I move that. Ernesto, you're perfect. Did I tell you that yet? You're perfect. I needed you to know that. You're fluffy and you're perfect. Perfecto. Perfecto, mon ami. Mon ami, amore. Mon ami. I've been having French come in my voice lately, and I do not understand. Because I do not know enough French to even... I know about as much French as I've learned from Miss Piggy, to be very honest with you. So what ends up happening is we We live our life, we do our thing, we learn the thing, or maybe, we're Hitler. I'm not kidding when I say that. We are all here to learn something. And whether that thing is to have a horrific genocide, to be in the horrific genocide, to be somebody who helps lessen the horrific genocide. Who are you in this, right? Sometimes we are a small soul who has to come here to learn something very specific. And that very specific thing is love. And this is very, very hard. So trigger warning to anybody that's lost a child. And I hate this more than I can possibly say. But when little souls are here and they leave too soon from our arms, because it's always going to be too soon. I want you to know that it's always going to be too soon. Okay? They're here to learn the love. That love. That love that we gave them. And yes, our souls knew ahead of time that we were going to have this loss. And it's bittersweet. Because, if you're understanding what I'm saying at this point, you understand that your soul is here to learn something. And this grief of losing this child and learning how to be again sucks, and it's hard, and there's nothing good about it. There's just, you get my point. You can't sugarcoat it. I can't sit here, it's freaking grapefruit, okay? I can't make it into a sweet orange. It's just grapefruit. You can put a little sugar on it and it can taste better, but it's still grapefruit, right? The same thing with miscarriages. The same thing with a lot of things. The little spirits are here to learn the love that we have for them so that they can bring it back to that side and be reborn again so that they can understand the love here. And we all had to do this. All of our souls are telling me all of our souls had to do this, because if we didn't do this, we didn't learn how to love. And I don't care how bad of a human being you might be, you did it because you needed to learn love. It's just in that lesson, you chose not to apply love. You chose not to do something different. You chose to be angry instead. And a lot of times, I feel so shaky right now. It's not because I haven't eaten, because I did. They said, a lot of times the lesson is to learn how not to be so angry. To learn a balance. And that's true too, Spirit. You do have to learn anger, and you have to learn sadness. Because when you do lose a child or someone you love, that does bring a lot of anger and sadness and a lot of why me, and that is purely justified and fair. But it's what we do with that afterwards. Where do we let that direct us? Do we let it direct us to anger to the point that we hate other people? And are just angry that they have what we can't have? Or do we understand that we can't have that, and that really is not fair, but I can't dislike other people who have children because I can't have them, right? Does it hurt? Every single day. Isn't a day it doesn't. But you know what? I can be happy that somebody else did. I can be joyful that somebody else was able to. And when I have friends who have kids, I can be the auntie that spoils them rotten. Right? And that's my job here. My job here isn't to have children, it's to know the sorrow of not having children and to learn how not to hate the world because of that, right? So often that is on some level what we're learning. And it's always different facets of it and in different ways. And of course, we have to learn to be angry. We have to learn to be sinful. We have to learn to be bad. We have to learn all of this stuff so that we can bring it back to the other side and review. Now, once you've ridden the highway, eventually you're going to have to get off. And you do. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's not scary because, when you're on the other side, it doesn't look like anything. It looks like a doorway. When you're on this side, it looks like a big, huge, giant light where the light does not absorb into the dark and the dark does not absorb into the light, and they respect each other equally. There are two guardians that I always see there that protect the dark area and protect the light. And some people wander in on the area on their own and find the light and go through. Some people have huge welcomings. Some people come to people like myself. Some spirits come to people like myself who will help cross them over, which is really weird. And some people wander in the darkness. Some spirits wander in the darkness for a little bit. And usually when they do that, it's either because it's the not nice kind of spirit that snuck its way in that the other side always, when I always ask them about this, they're like, yeah, we just don't want this over here, so we just leave it over there because it doesn't grow and it doesn't change and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So, and that's also the reason why there are guardians over there. To keep that in line. Because those guardians, to be very honest, just are tired of war. And they don't want any more. They are tired of war. And when you are tired of war, both sides will lay down their arms and just go home and be with their families and forget it ever happened. And just look at the other person and go, yeah, our kids are getting married. Yeah. And then the kids don't realize why. They just don't talk a lot. And one day they find out, and that's peace. Northern Ireland, to be very honest with you. But sometimes when the light is too scary, spirits don't cross because they're just terrified of the light. It's bright. It is bright. It is abnormally, blindingly bright. And the fact that, oh, sorry, Ernie, I apologize for that, sweetheart. It's okay. It's all right. I'm sorry about that. And the dark is actually so dark. And when you see them contrasted with each other, the problem is that there is, there should be always light and shadow. There's no shadow. There's just dark and there's light. There's, the dark is not absorbing the light. The light is not being defeated by it's just balanced. And it's very scary to see that balance because we're not used to seeing it. Like I said, on the other side, it just looks like a doorway. To us, it looks like a big bright light and you get afraid and you don't go. And you just stay around here. And then sometimes you have other people that will help them cross over and to see that this is all that it is and they just need to step through. Because once they step through, they're going to see their family. They're going to see everybody that they need to see. Okay? Once you step through the light, everyone is there. And it's like waking up from a coma and you just slowly wake up and you look around and the nurses are there to give you the water and people are there to hydrate you and the person who's supposed to meet you there is there right by your bedside, like you're waking up from surgery, like, hey, how'd you do? How you going? And you're just looking over going, I'm all right. And you get yourself acclimated. And it's what they always show me is like, it looks halfway like Earth and halfway not like Earth because you have to acclimate between the two. And eventually you go to the other side. And actually you don't go. it transitions into what it actually is, so you can just visually see it. Because, you know, it's like when you're going down into deep water and you have to come up slowly, because if you don't, you're going to get the bends, and you're going to, you know, if you don't know what the bends is, go ahead and look that up. And excuse me. And as you wake up, you get to meet the people who passed before you. You get to see your dogs and your cats and all the things, because everything crosses over. There's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no limbo. And I guess the dark spot is kind of like a limbo if you really want to think about it, but nobody gets trapped there unless, of course, you're absolute evil. And what is evil? Evil is a lie. So basically what gets trapped there are the lies that nobody wants. It's basically just narcissism, whatever that is. And I'm not going to deal with it right now. Be very honest, I don't feel like dealing with it. But you just start to acclimate in, and you start to meet the people and see the people. It's like a family reunion. It's like you woke up from a coma and everybody is coming in to see you, and nobody is angry at you and nobody is mad at you, and you're only seeing the people that were good to you. You're not seeing the people that were bad to you. You're not seeing the people that you were bad to, unless they choose to come and see you, which they're not going to, because you need to acclimate. This isn't the, you know, in the movies, oh yeah, we're gonna forgive you because, you know, that is not this. Those people are not there because you have to acclimate. And once you've acclimated, then you go into review and you sit. They always show me it's like a circle with a TV screen in the middle, and you're watching your life, and you're seeing the things, and you're seeing people down here as they're moving around and doing their thing, and you see how what you've done has affected them. So if you are an abusive parent, you see how your abuse towards your child affected them. Now, to the abused child, yes, your parent goes into review. It doesn't make what they did any better, and that's exactly what they learned. That is exactly what they learned. And they won't ask for forgiveness, so don't worry about it, because the point isn't to get forgiveness from you. They now have to go on the other side and realize, I chose to go down that path where I hurt my child, rather than going down this path where I'm doing it better than what my parent did. Instead, I did exactly what they did. I was worse than what they were. I let them get tortured, and now I have to rectify that. I didn't choose to do better, even by any degree, you know, because if you choose to do better by a little degree, then your child learns, and then eventually that generational trauma is just broken. Yes, I love you too. So, you know, I don't want anybody to think that we give excuses to abusers, even on the other side. Absolutely not. You're still here. You're still feeling those feelings and emotions. And that's what counts, because your feelings and emotions are valid. You don't have to worry about them on the other side. And the fact of the matter is if they don't learn, they don't wake up as quickly, and they go into rest longer, because there are some spirits that do not learn appropriately, and they rest for a much longer period of time. I don't know a lot about that. I just know that's what they show me. But yeah, they go into the review. If you were good to people, you see where you were good to them. If you were bad to people, you see where you were bad to them. You hear how you affected people's lives. And sometimes you end up with a medium like myself who helps spirits on the other side realize what they did on this side and what they should have done different, and how to fix it on some level for next time, because this isn't fixed, because the person that they hurt, that person's plan already knew that was going to be a possibility, and it's all on how that person is now going to handle it. So if you are a child of abuse and you grew up and you reached the age of 16 and you decided to leave home, that was your choice on that life plan. You left home at 16. You decided to get a job, finish high school, live with a friend, and then go off to college and do better and end this generational trauma. There you go. Or did you go off this way and then not go back to school, or go to school and graduate, start college, get into this, that, and the other thing because you couldn't cope with the abuse? You know, and even this way, when you're doing this stuff, you can go forward and not cope with the abuse and just become a horrible, abusive person, but in a different way and in a different tax bracket. You see what I'm saying? So, God, this chocolate on here is driving me crazy. Actually, that feels better now that that's neater. So that is what review is for. You're going to see like, even myself, I know I'm sitting here and I already know I'm not going to like my review, but I know I'm going to have to do it. I'm not going to have that choice. You know, it's how you learn and grow. It's how your spirit learns and grows. It's how your spirit learns and grows so it can become ascended, so it can continue to ascend through all the lifetimes. So you can go through all of the zodiacs so that you can become an ascended master. Because at some point, your soul isn't going to be reborn because it has learned, and it's going to then they don't show me a lot about what happens after education. They're calling it education. All of these different soul dives that we do, they're calling it education. They don't show me a lot about what happens after education. I just see another big burst of light, and they tell me it's like another off-ramp and onto another highway and into a bigger city where you're learning more, but your kindness is greater and bigger and you're doing other things. And they say you're going to go around Earth a few times because we have to learn these things here in this zodiac before we can go up in here and ascend even more. You know, it's important what you do here. You know, it's not what you hear and see, it's what you say, it's what you do. You know, there's an actor who recently said about another actor that he knew what was going on. This actor knew what was going on, but didn't say anything because that was between that actor and God. The moment I heard that, I heard the universe say yes, and you won't believe, and the universe said yes, and wait till this person gets here, and I have the conversation with this person about how they knew this was going on, but they chose to be silent. They didn't make the choice to act. They didn't make the choice to look at someone and say, don't do this, 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 or hey, you, don't be around this person. They chose not to act. They figured God would put it in God's hands. And God puts a lot in his own hands and takes care of a lot. Don't ever get that confused. God, the universe, whatever you want to call them. It does a lot on its own. Trust me. It is self-replenishing, they say. The source is self-replenishing. However, they say as replenishing as the source is, there are things that you have to do as part of the source to keep other people going their path. You know, it's like having a kid on a tricycle and letting them just, you know, rather than keeping them on the side of the road, you just let them go into the busy traffic. What the hell are you doing? Oh, that's between the busy traffic and that's between God and the child and the busy traffic. No, it's not. Trust me. Because what you think you shouldn't do here, you will have a conversation about up there. Now, these are big things. There are going to be little things that you're going to go, you know what, I don't think I should get into that. That's fine. You don't have to get into everything. But when you know that you should and you're like, how do I handle it? Even if you've got to go to somebody and ask, do it. So, because they're telling me that's really important. Like what this person said, that's important because they're complicit to what the other person is doing. And it's not that you have to keep somebody else on their life path. You don't have to do that. But part of your life path is speaking up and saying, hey, don't let your people around this person, they're going to get hurt. Or going to the bigger people in charge and saying, listen, this person is doing this and this is not okay. It's going out and speaking up and saying it and knowing when to do that and when you can. I mean, obviously, if you're an abused wife, you can't always run your mouth and get yourself in trouble. You see what I'm saying? You can't always, that sounded really terrible, and I am horribly sorry about that. That terribly sounded terrible. But you know, if you're abused, you can't just, run out and scream. You have to sometimes take your steps. So sometimes there are times when you're quiet, but there are other times, and you know it, where you can have that sonic boom because that's there. Like for this person, that was a sonic boom moment. They missed it. So life is a highway. My throat on the right side feels clogged. So yeah, that is your life plan. Life is a highway. It's every time you do something on the life path, you make another sonic boom and you go onto a new road. Eventually you're going up to, how many miles an hour, and you're comfortable doing it. Now, doesn't mean you can't get kicked back down. 100%. I mean, remember, you can be going on these roads and then get too into your ego and decide that you don't have to help anybody anymore, and then all of a sudden you're slowing down and you don't know why, and now you're getting in trouble, and now traffic's jamming up, and now you're over here and you don't know why. And it's because you got complicit. You didn't follow your life plan the exact. As your life plan was getting better, you started ignoring sonic booms. And when that happens, that's the boom actually sound that I just did, that I always hear when that happens. And I heard it once with someone else, which was really, really unique. And in this circumstance, it was someone who they had one apartment, they moved to a better apartment. They were moving again to a better apartment, but they had to go, they took me to do something. It was like an emergency thing. And on the way there, I felt a sonic boom. And then all of a sudden, they got a call for an even better place to rent. And that changed their life. And that's what these sonic booms are about. It's about changing your life, taking in the change, being thankful for it, and realizing this is where I am and sitting in it, and then moving forward to the next change. And like with the boulder, little by, because once you get there, the boulder's on top. You let the boulder go down, and then you walk down as you're thinking about the next thing and going up, right? Yeah. Moonology. You guys got anything to add? I feel we got a couple extra seconds here. Because I did do all the things. I did. Hello, friendaroos. Yeah, so is there anything I should add that you need me to add? Ooh, that felt good. Ah, that's nice. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I talk to my cards. Can't help it. And if you're neurodivergent, you'll get what I mean. Talk to inanimate objects, too. But yeah. What would you like to add? What have we got? lead. So, okay. So, the first card out was Enchanted, and then Courage. Because you know, when you start a life path, it's very enchanting, and then you gotta have that courage, man. You know? Excuse me, friends. I mean, it's enchanting. It's enchanting. Look at that doorway. It's enchanting to go through the doorway. And it takes courage. It takes courage to go through. See that big red moon? It takes courage, a blood moon. It takes courage. It's like a blood cell. It takes courage to get in there. And it takes courage to take this lead. You see how that grows? And you have to stay in your integrity. You see that? That moon shining? That road is your integrity, and that is the road you're driving down. Wow, that's like freaking me out right now. Yeah. Because that's where you gain knowledge. That's where you take a breath. And that's where you take your last breath as well. And that's where you dance. You dance into the moon. You dance from this knowledge. You take this knowledge with you, and you dance into this light, and you cross over into review. And that is your life path. And everyone's is individual, and no one can tell anybody what it is. Only you can do it. And you're not even going to technically know it all. You're just going to know what you do and don't want. You're going to know what you do and don't want to achieve. And by the way, you don't have to have goals. Yes, I do think goals are stupid. But that's just because I'm neurodivergent and I don't like goals. And you know, out of everything that I don't think that neurodivergent people can do, goals is one of them. But it's also subjective, because for me, a goal can be to make a scarf, not what is my 5-year life plan. So it's always a 50-50 subjective with us. So that is my message for you guys today from the Seven Sisters, from the Oracles. Oh, it was wonderful having the ladies here. So remember, stay in your integrity. Yes, stay in your integrity. Take your breath and take the lead. Be courage, gain your knowledge, and keep your enchantment always. Keep your childish enthusiasms. Just always know when to be the grown-up. You know, you can always be a child, but you always have to know when that moment is that you gotta switch. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave it today. If you have any questions, let me know. And have a blessed day. Have a blessed moon. A blessed moon. What is a blessed moon? Okay, one more. Okay, we just make sure that we don't, you know. What message for the collective? That's way too many. You have a message for the collective. Tell me. I want to know. I'm demanding. All right. Woo! All right, what's our message? A message for the collective, you say? A message for the collective. They like you. All right. Sometimes the cards can get too big for my hands. That's better. Just shakes them out. All right, you said you have a message for the collective. What was it? And not that many cards, please. That's fair. We'll take those. Yeah, we can definitely do that square. All right. It's time to do a cleansing. It's time to set your boundaries. It's time for new beginnings. And it's time for support. That's what it's time for. So if you're listening to this and this makes sense to you, that's where your next part is coming in. It's time for people to do cleansings. It's time for us all to set boundaries. It's time for new beginnings and support chains. Support chains, I'm being told. Because that is what a lot of this is. That is what ascension is about. It's about cleansing the soul. It's about setting boundaries. It's about learning boundaries. It's about learning new beginnings and how to make new beginnings. And it's learning about support. It's learning how to be support. You see the support there, the support of your guides, the support of everything around you. So that's what learning in this is about. It's about all of that. It's about strength. It's about courage. Look at that. You know? It's about understanding. It's about knowing the rules and boundaries. And that's what we're learning here as spirits, is we're learning the boundaries and the rules and how to support and how to stand to integrity and cleanse and all of that stuff. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I do think I might do a Moonology reading, actually. So I feel very called to do that right now. So, okay. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. And just so y'all know, I love you. You're enough. You're not too much. Your feelings and emotions are valid no matter what they are. And I love your faces. And be good, behave, be happy, and be yourself. And thank you for coming to my atmospheric cafeteria. And Doug just woke up. Anyway, good night. God bless you. We love you.